Whew, how are you guys doing? We are in the heat of Aries season. How are you doing? Solara here. I hope you're doing well. It is Friday, March the 28th, at the time of recording, and I'm coming to you with downloads. I'm in a bit of a rush again today, so I have limited time for this transmission. So I don't know if I'm going to have time to pull cards, but I will definitely get into the downloads with you. But before I do that, I just want to take a moment to welcome all of you. Welcome if you are visiting for the very first time. Welcome if you are returning, whether you've been here with me from day one. Thank you for your support, or you've joined somewhere along the way, or you're a newer subscriber or listener. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to the messages that I have been given to share with you. Okay, so I don't know how you guys are doing, but this Aries energy is not just Aries, it's partially Aries, but I also do think it's this Mars in Cancer moving forward, especially when it hit the 22 degree mark a few days ago. I think it's still at 22 degrees. I haven't looked at the chart today, but things are definitely moving. There's a lot of activations that are occurring that are very, very physical, or at least that's the way I'm experiencing them. And when I talk to other people, that's how they're experiencing them too. I even had a fever earlier this week it wasn't sickness, it was purely energetic, insomnia, just getting more sensitive in certain ways. And I know it's all like, activations getting ready for tomorrow's new moon in Aries, and the eclipse that's occurring also. So if you are dealing with the onrush of energy that really seemed to pick up this week specifically, you're not alone. A lot of agitation, all of that is kind of what we're all going through, just to varying degrees. So just make sure that you're looking after yourself and doing what feels right for you at any given time. I feel like a lot of what's happening right now is here to help us recalibrate, but also to remember how our individual energy systems work, because we're waking up, we're being kind of switched back on. We've been asleep, we've been dormant, we've been stagnant, we've been debilitated in many ways because of the energy fuckery of the false matrix. And in that, we've kind of forgotten, we've been sleeping giants. We've forgotten how we work. And we're learning that, especially through this Aries season, there's a sense of these things are occurring so we can learn how to alchemize on our own terms, given that many of us know now who we are, and remembering the tools that we've been given to help alchemize ourselves in any given situation. So it's been real. I'm sending my love out to you guys. Okay, so I'm looking very forward. Tomorrow I have another Lilith Tarotstrology group Q&A. It is sold out again, but if you are interested in that, I might be doing another one next weekend. I will keep you posted over this weekend as to what my April schedule is going to look like for meetups with me in group sessions. Okay, I want to say a big thank you to all of you who have donated, tipped me, treated me to a coffee. I really appreciate all the ways you support me. It helps me to continue doing the work that I came here to do. So let's get into this. So I heard the price to get near you is going up again. The price to get near you is going up again. And understand and overstand that energy is cyclical, right? So we live in accordance with a zodiac wheel, right? And everything that we experience occurs in cycles within cycles within cycles. So whenever it's time to level up, things begin to shift, right? And whenever you're leveling up higher into your sense of authority, then it's kind of like your value goes up. Your value goes up. Your value goes up not because you're worth more than you were before, but because you are tuning into your inherent worth and value. And a lot of the times prior to this, you were living below that truth. Okay, so as your value goes up, the beings that you allow to be near you might not be the same ones that were around you before. And the reason for that is that the beings who were around you before, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes they've been benefiting from you playing small. They've been benefiting from you not having tight enough boundaries and protecting yourself. They've been benefiting from the fact that you've been giving and kind and loving. They've been benefiting from the fact that you've been sleeping on yourself. And the minute you begin to rise in your power, they start to feel some type of way. And so this is coming around again. It's not surprising. You know, the new moon in Aries is occurring in less than 24 hours at the time of recording. And the new moon in Aries and Aries season in general, it brings in this boost of masculine energy where we learn how to lay down our boundaries in the protection of our divinity, our true identities and our purposes. And that's kind of what the Aries energy is here to kind of incite in us, and what masculine energy does in general. And not for nothing, the sun has moved into Aries for the first time since the nodes moved out, or the North Node moved out of Aries back in January. So we had, a 19-month period of the North Node being in Aries, where we were being taught a lot of Aries wisdom and medicine. We were being taught how to rise back into being heads over ourselves again, having dominion over self, having authority over self. We were being taught deep lessons of sovereignty. And now as the sun moves in, those lessons are really being activated in how we are learning to carry ourselves. Okay, so on the one hand, so wait a minute, let me go back into the download. So you may feel yourself being less patient than usual. Okay, you may feel yourself being less patient than usual. And again, there will be a lot of reasons why that would be. For one thing, the Aries energy is very fast moving. It's very fast moving, so it has the power to agitate us, and agitation can bring about impatience, especially if you're a person who's not necessarily used to that energy. Like, I'm thinking, of some of you who are very, have a lot of earth in your energy. Although, all the signs work together to balance us out. Sometimes some elements or some signs within certain elements we're less comfortable in them, depending on what we're holding elementally because of our birth charts. So the patience can be an issue, but it's a natural thing to be going through, and there's a purpose, right? So on the one hand, make sure you're not lacking compassion and empathy towards self and those who are worthy of your time. But on the other hand, don't beat yourself up, because some of the things you used to tolerate cannot be taken with you into this next cycle. And so the fact that you are becoming impatient with certain things or certain people or certain behaviors is actually indicative sometimes of the fact that you've outgrown them. Okay, because some of the things you used to tolerate cannot be taken with you into this next cycle because you're leveling up. So people pleasing and self-betrayal habits designed to keep you in this false sense of humility in order that you appease others or you make them feel less threatened by you in any way, where you've still been doing that, prostrating yourself before people or pretending to be less than what you are, or staying quieter or dimming your light in any way, or not standing in your power because you don't want to threaten or you don't want to feel rejected or denied in some kind of way. The Aries energy is just like, fuck a bunch of that. The Aries fire is like, it's come to burn that shit away. Right? So that kind of self-compromising behavior is over. And the beings who benefited from that are going to have, they always are going to have a problem when you decide that it's time to rise higher in your power and the expression of your truth. So the fire energy, it's here to destroy that which keeps you from blazing your light proudly. I'm going to say that one more again. This fire energy, it's here to destroy that which keeps you from blazing your light proudly. You may be becoming stricter with who has access to you or the terms around engaging with you, and that is fine, because loose borders allows for constant intrusion and theft, while tightening up your borders allows for you to flourish and attract those who are not threatened by your power and willing to, quote unquote, pay the price of admission to be in your presence. And what I mean when I say pay the price of admission, for some of you, this is literally to do with your careers, right? You're no longer settling for being paid a certain amount when you know you're worth more. So it can literally be about paying the price of admission. But what this is really about across the board is understanding and overstanding that people who don't see their ability to be in your life as a privilege need to go. Okay, and it goes both ways, because we shouldn't be in people's lives who we don't feel privileged to be in their lives too, because that's the only way to keep something healthy and flowing and growing, so it doesn't descend into like energy harvesting and codependent cycles, right? So the people who don't appreciate your value are going to be the ones who always have a problem when you rise higher into your value. The ones who have always respected your power and your worth and your value will applaud you when you begin to wake up and see who you are and take the mantle of that and behave and express yourself in ways that are befitting of that truth, right? So some of you are moving into higher positions of authority and becoming bosses in your own realities, and again, sometimes also in your, work and career. And the price for this will always be more discernment around who you allow in your fields and in your presence, as well as asserting your power and dominion over self. Right? Because, there's that old saying, it's lonely at the top. It is lonely at the top because the higher you go in life, the more discerning you have to be about who you allow into your energy, because people have all kinds of motives, right? And they have all kinds of motives. Sometimes it's nefarious and sometimes it's just unconscious. But the reality is we're all supposed to rise into these positions and seats of power. And the power I'm talking about is not the power that we've been told about in this world. The power I'm talking about is the power to be wholly who you are and to be so in tune with your divinity that you're able to live a life that is abundant on your own terms. Because that's ultimately living in your power, is to be who you are and to emanate your source truth without distortion on the earth planes. And so a lot of the things that we look at as being powerful, the things we've been lied to about power, it's not real power. And this is why so many of you have had issues your whole life with people being jealous of you or envious of you and constantly trying to dim your light, and you never got it because in your eyes, in terms of how power has been portrayed to you in this world, you never thought of yourself as being especially powerful. But that's because you were programmed into thinking power is something that it's not, whereas beings inherently know, even when they're programmed into this false matrix, they see power in other beings that they lack, because true power cannot be bought, it cannot be borrowed, it cannot be stolen, it cannot be traded. Either you have it or you don't. Right? And what I mean by that is that we all have, I should rephrase that, we all have the ability or the propensity to be in our power, but not all beings have the integrity and the ability to know how to do that. Okay, and many of you do, because your power is so inherent that, others don't have to, you don't even have to try. You didn't even realize you were in your power just by being who you are. You didn't, like, for example, I'll give an example from my own reality. So I grew up, in an affluent part of the London suburbs, and it's really always been very amazing to me how envious people in that class of life are, because you would often think that people who apparently have so much and have access to the things that they want to make other beings envious about are actually happy. But a lot of the times, the things that they envy in other people have nothing to do with money, have nothing to do with class, have nothing to do with status. They envy people who are free-spirited, who speak their minds, who walk to the beat of their own drums, who live life on their own terms, who pursue their own happiness, who pursue their own peace, because they don't have the guts to do that. So back to the downloads. So some of you are moving into higher positions of authority and becoming bosses of your own realities. So the price for this will always be more discernment. Those who are bothered by you raising the bar of how you are treated, how you express, how you show up in the world, what you'll accept, those who are bothered by it are often the ones still playing small also and cheating themselves. And they want you complicit in that behavior so that they don't have to face themselves and rise too. And they will be triggered. They will try to deflect and call you arrogant or say things like, who does she or he think they are? You're that bitch, or you're that dude, or you're that guy. You don't shrink back because they're intimidated. Okay? The other ones that are bothered, again, I'm going to reiterate it. I've already said it, but they're the ones who benefited from you playing small. They were siphoning off of your energy in some way, shape, or form, you know, whether it was conscious or unconscious, because energy siphoning occurs when other beings like to keep you smaller because they're getting something out of it. They only react and are upset because they've been getting something from you playing small. Whether it was that they were feeling like because you were playing like you were lesser than, like they were above you, or they're smarter than you, or it was giving them some kind of sense of confidence or false inferiority. False superiority. That's what they're getting. Like, one of the biggest eye-openers for me was some of you know I come from a domestic violence background, and I had some family members who were really supportive when I was going through a lot of what I was going through with my ex, and it escalated to the point where he did try to actively take my life. And it was amazing how many people flooded around me and wanted to actually, quote unquote, help me. But the minute I began to rise into my power and take my life back, when I began to go back to school and I began to get really into fashion and my image again, not from a place of conceit, but from a place of regaining my confidence after being through that ordeal. When I began going to the gym and doing Olympic weightlifting and meeting all my goals and my my PBs and looking really good. It's amazing. And then also beginning to speak on what had happened and advocating for other women and children who had been subjected to such violence. It's amazing how those very same people who wanted to help me in my misery watched me the whole time and never once ever encouraged me, never once said, well done, never once. In fact, they seemed offended by my rise. And that's because some people like to be around you when you're going through really difficult things, because it makes them feel better about their own lives. It makes them feel above you. And when I tell you that lesson broke my heart, because I really expected those people who had helped me to be the very ones cheering me on, because it's almost like, look, what you did to help me rise, or what I thought you were doing to help me rise, look at how I'm giving it back. But no, they were upset. Can you believe that? I'm sure you can, because I'm sure many of you can relate to that. Are any of those people in my life anymore? Fuck no. No. So you don't shrink back when people become intimidated. It's Aries season, bitches. It's Aries season, bitches. We don't shrink back from people who are intimidated by our power any day of the year, but especially not during Aries season. So you puff that chest out, you flare those peacock feathers, and you stand strong in your sense of power and worth. You know why? Because you're an emanation of Source. And the last time I checked, Source, God, however you want to, whatever word or label you want to use for the one from whom all creation flows, Source, God, is a bit of a show off themselves. Have you seen the sunrise? Have you seen the sunset? Have you seen the ocean? Have you seen, some of the most beautiful natural scenes? Source likes to flex their power. And so should you, as a reflection and an extension and an emanation. It is actually an abomination to hide the beauty of who you are. It's an abomination. It's a rejection of Source. To hide the beauty of who you are, to hide your power, to deny it, to reject it, to pretend, is what takes you away from Source. This is why they had us do this in the Matrix, because the more we shrunk ourselves and the more we allowed them to program us against our godhood, against our power, against our beauty, against our sovereignty, the farther we got away from ourselves and our truth, and the more distorted our connection with Source became. And this is what the fire signs, all of them, are here to teach us how to do. The fire signs are more like light codes. They help us to reconnect with our original blueprint, the codes that allow for us to activate the truth of who we are. So those who want to question your right to be in your power, your right to be treated in accordance with who you are and your value, those are the ones who don't belong with you on the ride this season, and that's okay. Because the price to get near to you, it's going up again. Those are my downloads. And I do have a little bit of time for cards, maybe just one card, because I should get going. And I think given the energy of this reading and what was coming through, I think I'm going to go into my dragon and unicorn deck. So these are two decks by Diana Cooper. This is the Dragon Oracle cards deck and the Magic of Unicorns deck. And I think these were both gifts from some of you guys, so thank you if you're listening and you gifted me these oracle decks. I use them a lot and I love them dearly, so thank you. Let's get into this. Let's see. The dragon energy has been off the chain this week. As I say that, here we go. The dragon energy. There is a dragon that came out at the bottom of the deck. It's beautiful. We have a unicorn card. It's the freedom of truth. Communicate honestly. Be who you truly are. Gosh, that is so freaking apropos to the message that was just coming through. Communicate honestly and be who you truly are. Let me tell you something about when you don't communicate who you are honestly. When you don't communicate who you are honestly, you are distorting the frequency you are sending out into the universe, and that distortion is calling back confusion. Okay? When you know who you are and you stand in your worth and you refuse to be swayed by that in how you act, what you do, what you say, who you allow near you, you are also sending a clear message through your frequency out into the universe of what you are willing to tolerate based upon what you think you deserve. So if you want to rise higher into getting back your wealth, you must carry the frequency of one who knows that you are inherently wealthy, and you know how to manage that energy of wealth based upon how you act, how you think, how you talk, how you move, and who you allow to be around you. And I'm not speaking about the pretentious ways of being that we were taught in the false matrix was the way to exhibit wealth. I'm talking about that deep inherent knowledge of your value and your worth that doesn't allow for you to take shit. Basically, sorry, card dropped. That doesn't allow for you to take shit or settle for things that aren't for you. You know, there's so many times that we've been intimidated into doing things because we were taught that we can't have better. You don't deserve that much, or you better take this because you're not going to get anything better. Fuck a bunch of that. Fuck a bunch of that to the power of infinity. You get what you deserve, and you deserve in accordance with who you are and who you think you are. This is why so many of these assholes have been walking around here getting things that they don't deserve, because they were able to access that frequency through sheer arrogance, a lot of the time ignorance, and stealing from other beings by belittling them. Yes, but they still managed to have that frequency of believing, really believing that they deserved it. And here you are with the power to wield all of this wealth and value on this planet, doubting who you are. Stop that. Stop it. Stop it right now. And I'm saying this to you as I speak it to myself. Yes. Okay. So we got two other unicorn cards have come out. Soul satisfaction. Honor your uniqueness and do what makes you feel good. I love it. Honor your uniqueness and do what makes you feel good. And there's a really cute picture here of like, well, it's a beautiful unicorn, of course. But there's this gardener or someone tending to a garden. And then there's this beautiful lady and this little girl who's just like laughing. The little girl's laughing. And you can tell that the little girl's laughter is inciting laughter in the gardener and the woman, in the two adults. And she's like, the little girl is like controlling the energy of the environment. And it's connected to unicorn energy, her laughter. Right? So again, when you do what feels good, what feels right to you, what feels good in terms of, like your sacred divine blueprint, what feels right to you on a soul level, let's put it that way, then you access the frequency of your magic. That's how you access it. You access your magic by doing what feels good to you. And they knew this also in the false matrix, which is why they wanted you involved in things that caught like a lot of drudgery, right? A lot of grinding and hustling and drudgery. I don't know why I'm having this voice right now, but it feels like a grinding and a hustling and a drudgery kind of voice. You know what I mean? So no to that. It's time to reconnect again with what brought you joy when you first got here, and that they tried to dampen and kill in you. Right? Because after Aries, I said this is what fire energy does. After Aries comes Leo. Yeah. In a couple of months, right? In about 5 months. And that's the Leo energy. That's what connects you to your joy. You know? So, and as I say that, the other card that's here, the other unicorn card, is open your heart. And the heart energy, again, is Leo. Open your heart, love yourself, and dare to be vulnerable. So, your vulnerability, it's not for everyone. Your openness, your honesty, it's not for everyone. There are some people who are worthy of that because they won't shit on it, to be completely honest. They'll love you for your vulnerability. Their estimation of who you are will go up because of the beauty of who you are in your vulnerability. And then there are some beings who will take what it is that you've told them and use it against you, because everything is currency. Everything is currency. And there are beings who will take who you are and help you to appreciate and value. And there are beings who will take what you are and try to depreciate you in value. So choose carefully. Choose who you open your heart to, right? But also, because a really important part of this also is having an open heart. And, having boundaries, all of that stuff, it's not quite the same as closing your heart. You still have to have an open heart to those who deserve your value. And the more open you are to those who deserve your value, the more you begin to call in even more that matches that reality too, be it in people or opportunities or experiences. And finally, because I got to get running, we do have the only dragon card, but I see why it's the only one, because it's so powerful. It's Fire and Water Dragon. Fire and water. This is the inciting of something and causing it to flow. Is inciting the right word? It's like the sparking of something that causes everything to flow. Right? So, like, for example, what they just showed me, like when you speak a word into existence, when you say that word with power, you know, like we talk about magical words, when you say that word with power, the frequency of the power of that word and your conviction and your magic can set whole new cycles ablaze and set things going for better or for worse. You know, think about how it feels when somebody out of nowhere encourages you and empowers you, and how it can just set things in motion for you. And also think about how it feels when somebody's anger can completely tear you down and shut everything down. That's the power of inciting energy. That's the power of sound. That's the power of word. That's the power of emotion. So Fire and Water Dragon enables your life to flow with loving force. Prepare for change and to move forward quickly. Expect the unexpected and have fun. So prepare for change and to move forward quickly, because the minute that sometimes we think we're blocked, but we're not really blocked. The universe is just waiting for us to make a fucking decision of where it is we want to be, because we're waffling, we're wavering. One day we think we're this, we're powerful. The next day we're doubting ourselves, and we're creating this confusion. We're sending out this confusing frequency. And we're all guilty of doing that. You know, there's no judgment there. But then there's also a time to make a decision. And this is what Aries encourages us to do, especially tomorrow's new moon. It's time to make a decision. Who are you? Who do you say you are? Who do you say you are? Fuck what anyone else has to say about it or think about it, you know, or have an opinion about it. It doesn't matter what anyone else has to say. Who do you say you are? Because in accordance with who you say you are and what you stand upon, that's going to call in people that agree also. So this is where I'm going to leave you. I'll be back again soon. If you'd like to book a session with me, you can find out all information for that in the description box below. I do 60 and 90-minute soul recovery sessions. If you'd like to make a donation or a tip to the channel, I appreciate all of your generosity. You can do so. I'll put the links below. Also, if you'd like to interact with me on a daily basis, you can do so on my platform solara.xyz, where every single day for free you get access to the daily alchemy. It gets sent to you into your mailbox as soon as you join the platform. And then there are also opportunities for other memberships where I do more long form writing, more audio content. And for my Jade members specifically, we have a monthly group Q&A. And so I look forward to seeing my Jade members this Sunday, March the 30th, for our March group Q&A. And I look forward to seeing those of you who are coming tomorrow. And I look forward to coming back and speaking and sharing messages again for those of you who are listening. So I wish you a beautiful rest of your day. I'll see you again soon. Take care.